They need to sit down. Why aren't they sitting down? There's seats.
It's definitely
4 seats.
that makes sense.
4 of these people coming in the back.
Okay, let's.
Still coming in. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to East Dundee's regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees dated Monday, December 16th, 2024. I've got 6:02. Catherine, will you take the roll?
Trustee Mahoney. Here. Trustee Coonsey.
Present.
Trustee Britton. Here. Trustee Saviano.
Here.
Trustee Triber.
Here.
Trustee Sauter.
Here.
And President Lineham.
Here. And if you all rise with me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Okay, that'll take us quickly to public comment. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to address the board on a non-agenda or an agenda item? Seeing none. Okay, then I would like a motion, if we could, to move the Dan Duda retirement recognition announcement.
So moved.
Thank you. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chief, the floor is yours.
All right. It is a privilege to stand before you to honor Officer Daniel Duda as he retires after 20 years of service to the East Dundee Police Department. Over the past 2 decades, Officer Duda has been a steady and reliable presence on the force. Whether on patrol, assisting his fellow officers, or simply being there when needed, Officer Duda remained committed to the department. Today, as Officer Duda steps into retirement, we can look back on his career with gratitude. During his time with the EDPD, he has served as a field training officer, a crisis intervention team officer, evidence technician, detective, and he worked with the Kane County Major Crimes Task Force. The life of a police officer is filled with challenges, sacrifices, and moments that often go unseen. There are many missed birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries. A career in law enforcement is never easy, and it takes a special person to remain dedicated and steadfast through the years. Behind the scenes, it takes an even more special person to remain a dedicated partner to and supporter of a police officer. So I'd also like to thank Dan's wife, Dina, for her commitment to Dan and his service to the East Dundee Police Department. And of course, your children as well, who I know are in attendance. Dan, I thank you for your service. Am I missing somebody? Oh, I got you.
Quite humble.
Dan, I thank you for your service, for your commitment to our community, and for being a dependable member of the department. I wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life, knowing that your efforts here have made a difference in East Dundee. Congratulations on your well-earned retirement, and I thank you for 20 years of service, and if you want to come forward, I have a gift to you as well.
Just jot down a few things so I didn't forget. So, first of all, quite humbling. Wow. It's been an honor to serve the village as a police officer and investigator. Hang on, guys. That's all good, man.
Well, now I'm going to cry.
Oh,
We got bids on 605.
all right. It's been an honor to serve the village as a police officer and investigator for more than 2 decades. I got into the field because I love people. No one's judging you, you crime boss. No, I don't care what you do. I'm going to try this one more time.
You got it.
Love to help people. I'm proud they have made so many connections, whether it was solving the barking dog caper, a theft, a fight, a misunderstood child, a homicide, or simply making a person laugh. It was just having a bad day. My wife and I have raised our children in this community and are beyond proud of the young adults they have become.
I want to thank my family for dealing with my crazy schedules, for missing so many holidays, and for the extra rules and attention that comes with living in the town I work in. They have always stood by me and have always been proud of the work I do. I am blessed to have been given an opportunity to continue my mission of helping others in my new position at the State's Attorney's Office, and am looking towards the rewarding and important work that will be done there. Jamie's here too. There's Jamie. Many of the people in this room either live in town, work in town, own a business in town, or simply like hanging out in town. It means the world to me that you all came out.
You'll still see me around town, and I look forward to finding future ways of continuing to serve our community. I'll be counting on everybody's votes here when I run for board for the village. Thank you all so much.
There you go.
Merry Christmas. God bless you and all your families. And it's not over. Like I said, I'm going to be going to work for the most amazing state's attorney Kane County's ever had. State's Attorney Jamie Monster, if you want to take a bow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't sure if I could share it because it's a task force that State's Attorney Monsters put together for a massive, it's just a big problem, and it's for human trafficking. So I would be an investigator in the human trafficking unit, and any of you that know me, my son will be the first to vouch that I am an advocate for women's rights. I am an advocate for everybody's rights. I have always rooted for the underdog, and I will continue to do so, and I'll continue to be the voice for the people that can't raise their own voice. And I'm looking forward to doing some awesome work with the State's Attorney's Office, with some amazing new partners that I get to work with. I always enjoyed being on the task force. It was the biggest highlight of my career, believe it or not, was working with right there, Deputy Chief Polkinghorn from South Elgin was my partner on the homicide, if you all remember when Dodie Darrington was murdered. Brian Polkinghorn was side by side with me the whole way through it. And guess who I get to be with again on the task force? My buddy Brian, and we're gonna do it. So thank you all. Like I said, it's not the last you're gonna see from me. You guys will be hearing my voice, and other than that, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and God bless you all. Thank you. Okay, I'm pretty sure that everybody is going to do that.
Well, the next thing on the agenda is the public hearing, and since the whole public is here, might as well open it. I should have charged admission.
Yeah, right? May I suggest take a room?
Yeah. It's a good suggestion.
It is. That was literally the entire scene. Almost.
Okay, that'll take us to our next item, which is a public hearing, which will be opening. And as I've been informed, there's been some last-minute changes and developments that will be communicated between now and the time we close this. But closing the hearing will be at our next meeting 2 weeks from now. So, to consider a petition submitted by Chicago Title Land Trust and as trustee under trust agreement dated 15th of April 1969 and known as trust number 11-0398 to annex 178.41 acres of property on the south side of Illinois Route 72 corresponding to pins 01-30-300-011. The county pursuant to a proposed annexation agreement.
Oh,
There's 2 more pins on that, on the next line down.
Oh my God, I skipped that line. I'm
3
sorry.
more pins.
Yeah, there's-
01, I'm sorry, the pins 01-30-300-010 and 01-31-100-012 and 01-31-100-1013, currently located in unincorporated Kane County pursuant to a proposed
Cook County.
Cook County, gee whiz. Cook County proposed
Got this.
annexation agreement, pursuant to a proposed annexation agreement. The proposed annexation agreement would allow for the property to be rezoned into the M1 Limited Manufacturing District and to be used for contractors, yards, repair shops, offices, storage of construction materials, parking of trucks, parking of trailers, parking of construction equipment, third-party land leases, mineral extraction, mining, processing, crushing, screening, truck driving school, land reclamation, and operation of a data center, and related uses after the annexation to the village. So at this point, if anybody would like to address the board on this, you will be given an opportunity to, but we're going to leave this item open until our next meeting, which is going to be 2 weeks from now.
January 13th.
January 13th, thank you, 2025. So, that's it. Now, is there anything I need to, from a legal standpoint, say at this point to move on?
Just a motion to continue to.
Oh, okay. So
I will move to continue this hearing until the next meeting, which will be January 13th, 2025.
Second.
any questions? No? Catherine?
Trustee Triber?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey?
Yes.
Trustee Britton?
Yes.
And Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Okay, that's going to take us to a second public hearing then, and this will be for a proposed amendment to the retailer's occupation tax and service occupation tax for the Village of East Dundee downtown and the Dundee Crossings Business Development District. So is there anybody who would like to address the board on this? We can keep it open for a few seconds. No? Okay. Do we need a motion to close? Scott?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any questions? No? Catherine?
Trustee Triber?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey?
Yes.
Trustee Britton?
Yes.
And Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Okay, then, let's see, we did the announcements. That's going to take us to our consent agenda. Now, we're going to have to remove, I think, what was one of them, let's see, motion,
Mayor?
meetings, yes.
Sorry, point of order, I believe we scheduled our public comment.
No.
No, I did that.
No,
I
you
did-
didn't.
I
It
did
was
that
just
one.
when everybody was here.
Yeah.
So-
So, okay, that takes us to our consent agenda, if we could have a motion.
May I make one brief comment? Do we need to remove item C because of the amended ordinance we received?
Yes.
Okay, I will make a motion to remove item C from the consent agenda and put it on the other agenda items.
Second.
I think you need a motion to do that, to be honest with you.
Well, if we've just gotten this information, it hasn't been made available to
So
the public.
do we have to put it,
So.
Is it January?
So to go ahead and vote on
I
it.
think The item's been noticed on the agenda.
Right.
The public is aware of
Okay.
the ordinance. The ordinance has been amended. There's a proposed ordinance amendment. So what I think you could just do is just make a motion to amend as
Stated in what we
and
received?
the paper copy you received.
Okay.
But, okay. well,
So can we do that in the consent
So
agenda?
I would adopt the consent agenda, excluding item C,
Okay.
Okay.
and then go back and amend.
And amend it
Make a motion to
once we move on.
Adopted.
adopt item C, and then someone has amended.
Fair,
All right.
thank you.
I will move to approve regular village board meeting minutes dated November 18th, 2024. I will also move to accept the warrants list in the amount of $3,196,649.15. I will also move to approve an ordinance approving an amendment to retailers' occupation tax and service occupation tax for the village of East Dundee Downtown and Dundee Crossing Business Development District.
Second.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Seeing none. Catherine?
Trustee Schreiber?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey?
Yes.
Trustee Britton?
Yes.
And Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
All right.
Well, if we could, but just
So,
before, I mean,
well,
with
we still
relation to item C, if there's significant changes to this, shouldn't the public have an opportunity to review this before we vote on it?
Well, you couldn't have an item on the agenda without even a proposed, necessarily a written ordinance. So my understanding is this is just slightly amended. It's not really deviating substantially from the original copy.
Can you elaborate a little bit on what changed?
Should we open this?
Yeah,
we should.
Yeah, I would make a
Motion
motion
to.
to open it.
Okay.
I will move to, I'll move to approve an ordinance amending the water and wastewater sewer rates as provided to us today.
Second.
Okay.
So my understanding was that the only thing that was changed is the exact amounts of the monthly wastewater fixed charge was stricken, and just to say it'll be updated annually.
And the rates that will apply and change annually were adopted in a fee schedule that looked out 10 years, I believe.
So there's an exhibit E that's attached to the ordinance that essentially is updated or reused annually. So it's included in the ordinance, we just remove the actual dollar amounts from the ordinance, so we don't have to always update it.
Oh, I see.
So what was provided to the public had this amendment, or had this, we'll say attachment,
Yes.
already provided, so all that we received today does is remove language that could at some point disagree with this amendment.
The rates that are provided as Exhibit A were actually adopted in 2017, I believe. 2015.
So items A through G on number 4 are the items being struck with those dollar amounts. That's what we're talking about eliminating from the original proposal?
Yes.
Why would we do that?
Because they're in this schedule that's attached.
I get that. Well, but, so these are still available, this information is still available to the public, and they've had an opportunity to revise it. or
Correct.
Review it.
Correct.
All right. Is there any other questions?
So on something like this, in the bills that go out, the billing statements that go out, is there, can I ask for, I don't know, you might do it already, but as rates change, you usually warn people, or you say the rate for this year based on this schedule, the 8-year schedule that we have is an increase of XYZ, and that's what's reflected in your bill going forward. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Catherine?
Trustee Schreiber?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney? Yes. Trustee Coonsey?
Yes.
Trustee Britton?
Yes.
And Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll take us to other agenda items. If we could have a motion for item A.
I'll Move to approve a resolution authorizing the execution of a negotiated agreement between the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150, and the Village of East Dundee.
Second.
Is there anything that we need to be made aware of, or the village needs to be made aware of between the old contract and this?
I would just add that the village's team of negotiating folks, so Brandis, Phil, our attorneys worked with Public Works Union and their attorneys over the course of the last several months to come to an agreement on several contract changes, some of which include insurance contributions and wages. And both sides are happy with the result and glad to have a new contract that will run for the remainder of this year and then for 3 additional years. So providing some stability and some foresight into the next 3 years for both sides. So we're very excited to get this in front of the board before the end of the year, and the Public Works Union ratified it last Wednesday, so we are good to go.
Good enough, good enough. Thank you.
Are there any highlights on what things substantially changed? I couldn't find like a cross out of
Red line version.
these are the things that are actually different.
So we provided 3%, 3% for 25, 26, and 27 for wage adjustments. We did a 9% equity adjustment. 7%, my bad, thank you. And then, and that was for the balance of this year. And then insurance contributions, for almost everything, it was at 15% of the share, except for the HMO, which was at 5. That has gone now to 15. So that's 15 across the board for everything, whether you're PPO, HMO, dental, vision, it's all 15. Anything else?
There are some contractual language changes to lunch and rest period. It's just how that period is identified previously. You know, staff was using their drive period and not including that as lunch, so we just kind of clarified, you know, once your lunch hour starts, whether or not you have to drive back at your time. And we also clarified some certification language for different incentives for various certifications that employees may seek that are beneficial to the village, such as pesticide, wastewater operator, sewer operator. So those are probably the bigger changes, cleaning up some languages as far as what counts as overtime and compensatory time. Yeah, those are the major changes.
Okay,
On
good.
certifications, did that also include CDL driver trainer at all?
That's a requirement for employment, so we would cover the cost of obtaining the CDL, but you don't get like extra stipend for maintaining that.
Right. No, I was talking about to be a CDL trainer, so that person could train the group, our employees, instead of going to an outside service, because we've got somebody that's trained just not certified.
Yep.
Something we contemplated internally, but nothing has been determined or decided as yet.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none. Catherine?
Trustee Triber?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Coonsey?
Yes.
Trustee Britton?
Yes.
And Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Okay, that'll take us to the next item, which is a discussion, gateway and wayfinding concept design discussion and direction. Do we have a contact from Gateway?
We do.
We do. Welcome. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And we're very excited to be here today to talk about gateway and wayfinding signage for the downtown in East Dundee. I've got this on board as well.
And an easel.
The easel's ours. It
Lock.
breaks a little bit.
Brandis doesn't need
Bye,
to see.
Brandis.
Can everybody see this okay?
Yeah.
Andy, can you see
Probably,
it?
you have it in your packets and stuff
Okay,
too.
very
So.
good. I see it really well, so.
So my name's Jeff Cook. I'm with Gary R. Weber Associates. We're a landscape architecture, ecological services, and land planning firm out of Wheaton. And with me today, I've got our senior landscape architect, Tim Ball, and our landscape designer, Morgan Conlon. And really, I'm going to keep my presentation brief. We're here mostly to listen to your input. We've been spending the past period of time looking at the town, talking about its history, looking into inspirational things like the railroad and how East Dundee came to be, and with Hager Brick and the Chicago Fire and the lumber yard and all of that. And really that found its way into these two concepts that we've presented here, which we called Timber Works, which is more toward the lumber side of things, and the Station Revival concept that has more of an industrial, metal, railroady type of a feel to it. We're at the first stage really of trying to figure out where this needs to go, and on the one hand we wanted to present two options that were fairly clear, but there's a lot of things within each of these, like color or how the branding gets represented, that can be variable, whether or not these signs are illuminated. And if they're internally illuminated or externally illuminated. So we tried to strike a nice balance of putting a package together of these signs as a family, so that hopefully today we can get out of here with some direction as to if the board likes one or the other, or maybe some other version of that, so we can move forward in refining it into a kind of a final package, if you will. I recognize also that the Historic Commission is working with Egret and Ox planning that may involve some colors. So we're open to hearing any input that is happening, either from the board, staff, or other groups. So that's kind of where we're at today, and I'd like to just open the floor and hear any input that the board may have on these concepts.
May I ask a clarifying question?
Sure thing.
At the risk of freaking out every single artist that's on this board, is it possible to sort of mix and match some of the items between the two
Absolutely.
concepts? Okay.
There's nothing about these that are set in stone. Like I said, even on the bottom here, there's the left side of the arch and the right side of the arch. Either one of those signage approaches could be taken. Similarly, colors, which branding preferences you have, all of it can be kind of
Awesome.
mixed and matched.
So,
Thank you.
So really your big ask from us tonight is kind of a line on whether or not, you're talking about the different structures and different solutions for the different situations within the village right now, and what the materials and potential look would be. Is my understanding correct?
Okay. And we've outlined sort of two families. So one, obviously you have the archway that's closely measured to going over River Street, but it's not a specific location. It could be another street, it could be another location. The LED message board is a replacement to your existing. The Village Gateway A and Village Gateway B are really possible replacements of your entry gateway signs, and those could depend on how much room and space you have, distance from the road.
Importance of the gateway.
Importance of the gateway, absolutely.
Okay.
Those types of things can be variable. Parking signs, of course. We try to keep them all in a family so you could see how each one of those signs could be represented. But certainly we're here to listen to your input and see where we want to go from here. But if we can move tonight into either one or the other as the main focus, then we can have ideas about lighting, ideas about logos, ideas about colors. And we can take that, go back, and refine the package based on what we hear this evening.
The concepts, I like both of the concepts a lot, like visually. I think they do a great job. I think the Station Revival one feels more tightly to our brand. Like our logo is inspired by train artwork and typography, so being on the train line and our downtown being on the train line, I kind of lean towards that one. And as far as like the archway, it would be nice if it had like right in the center, like the East Dundee Circle logo,
Yeah.
so that people, when they go in, they know this is East Dundee. We know it, but a lot of people visiting don't know the difference between East or West Dundee
Sure.
when you're in one versus the other. And then like the LED sign, are we keeping that in that place, or are we? I thought there were talks about maybe moving it or retiring it.
Yeah, the locations of these signs haven't been designated, so this will just give us a package that we can then have them manufactured, and then we'll decide, or actually before we have them manufactured, we'll decide placement.
Right.
I mean, it could go
Specifics
further
and-
up at Van Buren.
Yeah.
Where the
Yeah.
houses were.
Yeah.
That would be perfect
Right.
for that.
So I agree. I love the station revival concept. I like the heavier brick as opposed to the wood. The only slight concern I have is that implementation of a lot of blue with the logo. I feel like I don't know how. I almost prefer the black and white.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah,
think
I mean,
that's
when you
primary.
look
Blue as a highlight, but not
Like,
as a
yeah,
primary.
I think those are our accent colors, but I would, like the Arts Council discussed putting signage on the parking garage, and
Right.
where we were leaning is keep everything black and white, like
Yeah.
the black metal material on
Yeah.
brick, but maybe on accent pieces, not the main brand.
Yeah.
Like when you go inside the parking garage, maybe there's bright colors painted to
Yeah.
brighten it up,
Right.
but keeping the facade
Or like the
black.
wayfinding signs and things like that could be some of our other branding colors as opposed to black and white there.
Makes for longevity too, in case
Right.
our color changes. Or,
I mean, when you look at probably our biggest real estate of branding that we have, the water tower, we went black and white. It
Yeah.
works. It's great. It's different. I think I would like to, when it comes to applying our branding on some of this, I'm wondering if we can collaborate with a little bit of input from Zeller, since they have built this out and the usage of our logos out as much as they have. I think that's going to really, you guys did a great job, but you also aren't steeped in it. And,
Absolutely.
And,
I did actually mock up some things because I worked at Zeller while we were
They're
doing
up
it.
there. Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'll just throw some together. last night.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I did put like the East Dundee logo. But like on the side sign, starting with the circle logo
Yeah.
is like our main one. So
Yeah.
whenever we can, using the
Yeah.
full logo at full scale. And then I put like the accent colors do exist on other signs, but it might be nice to lead with the black and white to like catch your eye in a
Agreed.
busy downtown, that you find the village's voice is always black and white, unless it's like advertising, or the LED sign is kind
Or a
of like
special feature.
additional
Yeah.
advertisement sort of.
Can I just say that the historic district, that circle logo is gigantic. It feels gigantic the way that's in there right now. I kind of like to highlight
Historic.
Yeah, I mean-
historic district more than, I don't know.
And are we calling it the historic district?
Yeah,
or-
that was
Yeah.
my question too.
Oh, okay.
I think
I
we
love
need to
it.
discuss that a little
Like
bit.
I like it. It could be the.
Depot
I mean, it used to
District.
be culinary district. It could
Depot
be
District.
historic
Ooh,
downtown.
Depot District.
Depot district. I
don't
like
know.
that it pulls in
Yeah.
history.
If,
Yeah.
are we looking at this to be at like the same place that we were, like near Bandito's?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's
is
visible
historic
from
district,
72.
that banner, is that just cut out metal? Is that just basically?
Yeah, as it's shown right now, it's a metal panel that's cut
Plasma
out,
cut.
and it's probably got,
Yeah.
we haven't gotten into that level of design
Yeah,
development,
no,
but
I'm
there's
just
some,
curious.
some backer inside the structure.
And so lighting it, we're talking about maybe ground lighting, correct?
Well, you could do it either way, really. You know, there's a lot of different ways you could put it inside the structure so it illuminates internally. You could do, some of the LED stuff where it's externally illuminated.
It would require a backing though, wouldn't it?
I'm sorry?
It would require a backing if we had it internally lit, correct?
Yeah, so it's a dual-sided, that's got some width to it.
Mhm.
So it's actually kind of like a box.
Right.
Uh,
Top view is up above.
Yeah.
For my
Can't
part,
see in
you
there.
know, the village doesn't have a whole lot of investment tied to these older colors and, except for our banners. And of course, we have, some of them are already black and white, but, there's nothing that's really holding us to it. And just in the interest of it being dated, we might want to consider, you know, freshening it up a bit. The one thing I would just encourage the board to consider and keep in mind, and staff as well, is that regarding the location of an arch like this, in the event we end up changing out or redirecting, I should say, the intersection at River and 72, it might end up making, if we do this first and then, you know, reconfigure that intersection, it might tend to alter either where we put this or how it lays out, and that might end up changing the banner itself. That would be the only problem. Changing the footings is not, you know, major surgery, but changing the banner would be like starting over. So let's consider, as far as location, what we end up planning to do with the intersection, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That's a fair
Yeah,
point.
and to that point, you know, I mentioned River Street. You know, we needed something to kind of scale it, and we looked at River. They could just as easily be Water or
Yeah,
somewhere
or
else.
Jackson right there.
And that we have not had any, you know, specific direction as to where to put it at this point.
Mm, No.
We're just trying to get
It
a
has to go.
reasonable scale so we can be
I
close.
feel that way.
Yeah.
too.
No,
The whole point of this thing is supposed to be so that when people are driving by, they know that there's something there. Because right now, you drive by, you don't know what's back there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to alert people to say, why is this big arch there? Maybe I should drive back there. That's what the point of it is.
It's dropping
Yeah,
line.
but I do think with all of the strat planning and everything we're doing and talks about that intersection and what
No,
future state, I do agree that it's,
I get that, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we should
yeah, the
do
exact
this
location
and
is.
before we know what we're going to do with
Right.
the intersection.
But yeah, that's totally where it needs to go.
Yeah,
That's,
and
that
as
is
you
the historic district.
As you start going down the actual design too, you've got overhead lines to worry about
Oh, yeah.
in that area. So there's a lot of underground, so.
We're working, we're working on that part.
The Village Gateway A, though, that's on there. I like that.
Yeah.
I have a thought though too, like for some reason, our logo and the way that historic district reads, for some reason they clash a little to me, one being more modern and one being more historic.
Yeah.
The way
So I was, just the two next to each other. So my thought,
Like these two up there?
with the logo in the center. And plus, I just worry about like the readability of it when people are driving by quickly. So what about if we do Depot District or Historic District, could it say East Dundee following the curve right above it? Or
Yeah,
something like
right.
that, you know?
Both in an arc, but
And
one's
then an arch
shorter.
right
Yeah.
above it, but it's shorter. It's East
Right.
Dundee and then Historic District. Is that even just doable? I don't know. I'm just brainstorming.
You're
Yeah,
talking
I'd
about
like
the
to
arch
see
here?
both versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be
Yeah.
like a smaller arch above where it says
So
historic
it'll
district. it
look
would
more
be
like
Depot
your
District
signs here,
or whatever.
but just say East Dundee above Historic
Smaller.
District instead of the
And
circle in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So East Dundee and a shorter band.
And where maybe the font we use is what aligns us with our logo, but it still
Yeah.
isn't pulling it. So
I
don't know.
just, yeah, something's rubbing me not quite right about putting the big circle in the middle for that, but the Village Gateway A that Andy did is like, to me, spot on. Like as far as using the branding for that.
Yes, yes, I agree with that.
What are the pier signs for?
I was wondering the same
Piers?
thing. In what instance will we use the pier sign for parking instead of the freestanding sign for parking?
It's just another option. You don't have
Space.
to. For instance, right off of 72, right now you have the wooden parking sign. You could bring in a pier sign to have that material expressed. And it could be, again, an illuminated P in a cube or a triangle or just a flat sign for that matter. Or you could just as easily do a post-mounted sign. Either one would work in that space. It really depends on what type of expression you want to have in the downtown.
You know, in looking at these as far as lighting goes, I'd really prefer personally, instead of doing an interior lit sign on that, to have floods. similar to what they've got on the black and gray building with the floods going up the pillars in between, and then you can have another one angled up towards the sign itself. I feel like having the interior lit, personally, between interior lit or backlit product feels more modern and not in keeping with the kind of historic look that we're trying to establish with all these materials and designs.
I would like to consider punting that. The PZHC is having an entire historic commission as part of the strat planning and comp plan and all of that. They're actually doing, what's it called, Franco? A historic. So they're creating those right now.
Okay.
They're in the process of creating those. If you ever feel like attending 1,000 meetings.
I might.
I think that that's something we need to make sure all gets hooked in together.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
having been on the late P&Z and the historic
Yeah, for sure.
at one point in time,
Yeah.
backlit stuff was like a no-no.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think that's true for a lot of what we see in our downtown district anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would say I also like the station revival concept. I see these wood columns, and I don't like things that are supposed to look like other things, like fake wood. And real wood in Chicago is a problem. So I think just go with the station. It looks good. And I think works. I too love that our village embraces black in our design.
So do I.
It's very simple.
Yes.
And with the white.
We're here for it.
love
Apparently everybody got the memo.
And whether we do that logo as far as the gateway sign or just the text, I would say the wrapped text looks a lot better than the A one that has the little east vertical and then
Yeah.
Dundee next to it.
Yeah.
Not on up there, but on these ones.
Yeah.
The Village
yeah.
Gateway A versus the Village Gateway B.
Yeah.
A versus
The east vertically you don't care for.
correct.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Neither.
The wrap
Yeah.
looks better.
Yeah.
So we like the Timberworks concept gateway signs better than the Station Revival gateway signs,
I like
except we
Andy's.
like Andy's gateway sign A with the circle
Yeah.
most.
And I actually
Most.
agree with whoever said that the logo is too modern.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe the solution to that is to use the gateway logo on the gateway signs, since that's at the edge of town.
Yeah.
But as for the historic, maybe just
Yeah, I like Tricia's suggestion
Have
on that, and
something
just
shorter
put East
banner, just
Dundee
say
above
East Dundee.
historic district.
Yeah.
I like
Someone's
that.
working
Oh,
on it
I
already.
see, like in
Yeah.
an arch above.
Yeah,
so-
like
or-
just-
So East Dundee
That's
Historic
right.
District or East Dundee Depot District.
Yeah, something
I'm
like
selling
that,
it.
as opposed to
Yes.
East Dundee.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
And I also love the wayfinding signs. I know West Dundee put a bunch of those up, and I've been jealous ever since.
So do you
Great.
like the wayfinding signs like it is across the pole? Do you like it across or attached?
The what now?
The wayfinding? I'm just looking between the two on this board.
Yeah, see, one is in the
Do you like
center.
station
Yeah.
or Timberworks, centered or on the side?
Yeah.
If you go up on the bike path and see what Algonquin did, they did something along the Timberworks one where the sign
Right.
is attached to the side of the pole rather than
Yeah.
incorporated
Is there
into it.
is there like a way that's easier, harder?
Well, that's how we have all of our signs now, is
Right.
to the side.
Yeah.
I would stick
That
with
has a
Keep
more
it
historic
consistent.
feel to me.
Yeah.
The side.
So
But
I have to
too-
say I like the way the Station Revival sign looks centered. It just doesn't feel like it fits. So I think the off to the side wayfinding.
I agree.
And I think this is where having Zeller kind of pull in on this. Where you've got your curves on your wayfinding, and we've already kind of resolved the Village Gateway stuff, where you've got the wavy curves at the top and the bottom. It looks like a fake waving flag, and where we use it, where it's used mostly, if you scroll down to what Andy did, it's, or our existing banners, it's wavy at the top and straight at the bottom. And I think that...
Andy didn't do it.
No, it's
Where?
in the banner.
Oh, in the banner.
Representation
Oh,
on the left.
right down here.
Yeah,
Yep.
which kind of gives it the weight.
As a river instead of a flag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good eye.
Good eye.
It's,
All these details.
like it.
Spent enough time working with these.
But you would like that flat, and straight at the bottom, wave at the top, with the circle logo is what you're saying. Is that what I'm hearing?
On the wayfinding,
On the
have it
wayfinding.
Oh,
be
just on the
wavy at the
wayfinding.
top,
Okay, I got you.
straight at the bottom.
Yeah, but timber works off to
Okay.
the side.
But that would assume then that those are like a hard material rather than a banner material, right? Like all of our logo signs are fabric, are they not, or are they?
No, we've got a.
No, they are. Okay, my bad.
They're
Sorry.
banners.
Forget what I said. I'm just an idiot.
Yeah.
The new banner is vinyl.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking that with Gateway's help and our input, and then the store commission's input, we could probably come to an agreement, something
Yeah.
that'll fit all questions,
Yeah.
check marks. Incorporating Zeller into it again, I don't know if that'll just complicate things.
I don't think so. I
It'll
think they're
just
going to get us
add to
there
the cost.
faster.
But how long have we had those banners now? Do you recall? I mean,
We got new ones.
Yeah.
well,
We
no,
got
no,
some
I-
new ones.
Oh, they're the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing though. We just replaced them.
No, we got whole
No.
new designs
No,
for
we
like the
got
fall and
seasonal.
winter.
Yeah.
First round of
We
the
still
newer
have
branding
those.
was probably 4-ish years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not well.
Then we have
Yeah.
more current, recent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it says
What this says depot.
depot events and
Yeah, those-
and that
yeah.
sort of thing. Those
We've been kind of slowly,
those gotta be at least
filtering
6,
those out.
7 years old.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's.
Phasing them out.
Those are new.
yeah, they're
Then
getting
we
phased.
replaced them maybe. Oh, okay.
All banners were replaced 4-ish years ago.
4 years ago. Okay. I don't know what the life expectancy on them is, but they're
Well, we still use those banners a lot, and then
Day to
we have
day.
the summer, fall
Yeah.
banner.
right. The seasonal ones.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, any
Do you need anything else
anything
specific?
else?
No, I think this was really good feedback. I've heard, basically, I think we've got consensus that the station revival is really kind of the direction to point. We're going to focus more on the black and white representation. We'll do the wayfinding off to the side. We'll flatten that bottom.
The banner on the arc would be a top banner with shorter that just said East Dundee, and then underneath it, whatever we.
Yes, on the
Yeah.
archway,
Yeah,
yep.
rather than the circular sign, so yeah, I'd like that idea.
Yeah, so I think
We
we've,
haven't really covered the LED message board, but I think simplifying that just a little bit more.
okay.
Well, are we talking
In
about
what way
replacing what we
potentially?
have?
Yes.
Yeah, with the video screen instead of a LED. So like what we have now is like just scrolling letters, and like what you see at the Fox Valley Library is like a full video board.
Yeah.
So we have a lot more flexibility and it's easier to maintain. The one that we have now is no longer covered by warranty, and parts are not available, and when it breaks, it's very expensive.
That's at least 12 years old.
Chief, do you consider a video board to be a traffic distraction? You don't?
Not by the way it's used.
We've got a pile of them in town anyway, so.
I mean, through that
And that's
intersection,
something we
I hate
can
to see
talk
people
with staff
watching
about as
TV
well.
instead of driving.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of, the size that you need for the message and.
We've got lots of notes, but you did a great job.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
very nice.
immediately love the station
The,
revival.
the other thing, when you look at the gateway on the timber works, it doesn't have those two waves down underneath at the station revival, and I do like the simplicity On each side, there's kind of the waves going from the arch down to the pole on the Station Revival. I like the simplicity of that arch a little bit more.
So
without all
not the little loop-de-loops?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the Station Revival one, where we have the LED and the gateway signs, those posts, those mounting posts, are those open or lit inside? The way they're drawn, they're like almost like ballards that are lit, or
I assume these are open.
go to the Station Revival route.
Oh, Station.
What did I say, Timberwolves? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, if you go, I mean, or are those hollow or pass-through cuts?
These, they're hollow, right?
If you look from plan view, it would be a cross, and the center would be open.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Cool. Rich, how you doing down there?
I'm doing good. I like both of them a lot. I don't have the artistic minds like we have at this table. However, I think you can't go wrong either way. So I would be the only person who probably would have picked the timber one.
Well, the Timberworks one, those columns are not actually wood, are they?
No, the idea of that was to have a steel structure that would support it and then kind of wrap it at a size that would look like a, an actual timber that was used at the time. It has a tie back to the history of materials, but Trustee Kunze's.
Well, no, I
Wood that's not
understand
wood.
what he's saying.
An organic material isn't going to,
Yeah.
it isn't going to.
Well, that's always the
When you
trick
have
with wood
steel.
too.
Yeah, just
And as you get in further into design development too, some of those things will get ferreted out where you'll start to look at different material choices and costs and all of those types of factors.
Great.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
Well, thank you very much.
Info.
One other
Well done.
small thing is, like, very roughly.
There you go.
Oh, you already did it.
Like something typographic, but still the hierarchy of East Dundee, but.
Now we know what
Perfect.
you're
I
doing
gotta
the
talk
last
to you
10
after
minutes.
this meeting.
Maybe take Andy's resume over there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
That's exciting. Love it.
Okay, and that will take us to our reports. I'd just like to start out and thank everybody for the work at Dickens. That was a wonderful event. Luckily, again, we 37 years in have been fortunate with the weather. It was well attended and a lot of work went into it, so we really appreciate everybody's efforts on that. The other items that I wanted to touch base with actually are directed towards the chief. We have four-way stops now at River and Railroad and River and Hill, and we need ordinances on those, and we also need to have all those signs listed on our traffic device list. There have been times in the past where people have challenged traffic signs because we didn't have them properly registered on our device list or an ordinance to back it up. And of course,
No, we didn't.
it was tossed out. So do we have the ordinance is fine, but it also has to be on this traffic device list that we keep, which just basically lists out all of our traffic signs. So it's just a heads up.
My understanding, we don't, for creating a stop sign, we're not required to do that via ordinance. Kelly, our village
The
attorney.
state statute doesn't require it.
Actually,
It does not require it.
okay, then I've got some conflicting information because I'm going by the state statute that I mentioned.
You know, I mean, as a home municipality, you can correct stop signs for a student law system.
Okay, we'll take that one offline. I'll bet you a nickel. Okay, so just to keep that in line. So, and that's really all I have. So, continue with Scott.
No report.
Rich.
The Eagles are back on the river. The Nature
Yay.
Wildlife
Eagles
Show
are, yeah.
is happening. Sorry, the bald eagles. The bald eagles.
Bald.
Last 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, and also mind your dogs if they're small.
Yeah.
Because the eagles are back on the river.
They're on the menu.
Yep.
Yeah. Trish.
No report.
Andy.
The Arts Council is now accepting art submissions for our show that's in February.
Okay.
So you'll find it on the Arts Council Facebook or Village Facebook, but if you know any artists who are interested, let them know.
maybe we could put the word out too. It's on our website and so forth.
It will be.
It will be great. Kathleen?
My only report is a big thank you to everyone here. I think I spoke to pretty much everybody at the holiday gathering. Earlier, was it this week?
Last week.
Last week. Yeah, it's Monday. I'm having issues, clearly. But I wanted to thank everybody for a really great year with the village. We've done so much. You guys have kicked butt and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I feel very fortunate to be able to work with you all. And I wish everyone a happy holiday. And
Yeah, that's right. That'll be till next year.
New Year.
Merry
And we'll see you
Christmas.
on the 6th.
We'll see you on the 13th.
13th, whatever.
Well, those were my only notes. So.
I'm sorry.
Fine. Happy holidays, everybody.
Sarah, that's it?
That's
Okay.
it.
No report.
No return. Brandis? Chief?
I say this with caution because I don't want to jinx anything, but we have extended conditional officers to 2 brand new police officers. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, if that happens, we should know on the final portion of the background investigation of the last applicant, my friend. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Great.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Phil?
No report.
All right. Erica?
No report. Thank
No
you all.
report.
I appreciate the efforts this year. As Kathleen stated, it's been a heck of a year and got a lot more in store for next year. So
All right. Well,
do it.
Merry
Rest up.
Christmas, everybody.
Rest up. We gotta
Take your
make it
vitamins.
25.
And we're not going to go into executive session. So then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in
Catherine?
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Shush you.
Thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas.
You know who, Sarah first.
We're all like, nope.